Captain Jake Morrison stood at the bridge of the UES horizon, watching the massive alien space station grow larger on the main screen. His heart raced with excitement and fear. This was it. After decades of dreaming about meeting other intelligent life, humanity was finally about to join the galactic community. The space station was enormous, bigger than any city on Earth. It sparkled with thousands of lights and had ships of all shapes and sizes docked around it. Jake had never seen anything so beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "Captain, we're receiving a welcome signal," said Lieutenant Tony Brooks, the ship's communications officer. He was Lisa Brooks's younger brother and had volunteered for this historic mission. "Put it on screen," Jake ordered. The screen flickered and showed a tall, elegant creature with blue skin and large, kind eyes. When it spoke, its voice was soft and musical. "Welcome, humans of Earth. I am Ambassador Veltar of the Zephyrian people. We have waited long to meet you. Please follow our guide ships to the docking bay." Jake looked around the bridge at his crew. Diplomat Lisa Brooks smiled widely, her eyes bright with hope. Colonel Ryan Davis, their military advisor, kept his expression neutral, but Jake could see the tension in his shoulders. Dr. Amy Carter, their chief scientist, was already taking notes on her tablet. "This is really happening," Lisa whispered. "We're actually doing this." The docking process took 2 hours. The alien technology was so advanced that their ship was gently pulled into position without any effort from the human crew. When they stepped off their ship, they found themselves in a vast hangar filled with beings from different worlds. There were the tall blue Zephyrians, short furry creatures with 6 arms, beings that looked like walking crystals, and many others that Jake couldn't even begin to describe. All of them turned to look at the humans with curious eyes. Ambassador Veltar approached them with what Jake assumed was a smile on her alien face. "Welcome to Central Station. You are now guests of the Galactic Council. We hope your stay will be pleasant and productive." Lisa stepped forward, extending her hand in the human gesture of greeting. Veltar looked at the hand with confusion for a moment, then gently touched it with her own longer, more delicate fingers. "We are honored to be here," Lisa said. "Earth has dreamed of this day for centuries." "As have we," Veltar replied. "Come, the Council wishes to meet you immediately." They were led through corridors that seemed to stretch forever. The walls were made of some kind of crystal that glowed with soft light. Alien music played quietly in the background, and the air smelled of flowers that didn't exist on Earth. The council chamber was a massive dome with 12 thrones arranged in a circle. Each throne held a different alien being, representing the 12 species that ruled the galaxy. At the center of the circle was a smaller platform where the humans were invited to stand. The being on the largest throne spoke first. It was huge, at least 10 feet tall, with skin like black metal and eyes like burning coals. When it spoke, its voice was deep and powerful. "I am Chancellor Mordak of the Krillian Empire. We welcome Earth to our family of worlds." One by one, the other council members introduced themselves. There was Queen Zixra of the Crystalline Vorthons, Elder Kethsol of the 6-armed hexapods, and many others whose names were impossible for human tongues to pronounce properly. Finally, Veltar stepped forward with a golden tablet in her hands. "This is the Treaty of Galactic Membership. By signing this document, Earth agrees to join our peaceful alliance. In return, we will share our knowledge and protect your world from harm." Lisa read through the treaty carefully. It promised incredible things: faster than light travel technology, medical advances that could cure any disease, energy sources that would end poverty forever. In exchange, Earth would provide resources and follow galactic law. "This seems too good to be true," Ryan whispered to Jake. "Maybe they're just that advanced," Jake whispered back. "Maybe they really are peaceful." "Doctor." Carter was studying her scanner, frowning at the readings. She caught Jake's eye and shook her head slightly, but he wasn't sure what she meant. The signing ceremony was grand and beautiful. Each council member gave a speech about friendship and cooperation. The alien musicians played songs that somehow made the humans feel happy and relaxed. Everything seemed perfect. Lisa signed the treaty with a special pen that glowed when it touched the golden tablet. The aliens cheered in their various ways. Some clapped, others made musical sounds, and the crystal beings changed colors rapidly. Earth is now part of the Galactic Council, Veltar announced. You will return home as heroes, and soon our ships will come to begin the sharing of knowledge. After the ceremony, the humans were given a tour of the station. They saw amazing technology, beautiful art, and peaceful interactions between different species. Everything supported the idea that the Galactic Council was exactly what it claimed to be, a peaceful alliance of advanced civilizations. But Dr. Carter wasn't convinced. While the others enjoyed the tour, she quietly used her scanner to examine the alien technology around them. What she found worried her greatly. That night in their guest quarters, Amy pulled Jake and the others aside. "Something's wrong," she said quietly. "My scanner picked up some strange readings during the tour." "What kind of readings?" Ryan asked, immediately alert. "Energy signatures that don't match what they're showing us. The weapons I detected are much more powerful than they're admitting. And there's something else." Amy connected her scanner to a portable screen. "I managed to intercept some of their communication signals." The screen showed alien text that slowly translated into English, thanks to the translation software they'd been given. Phase 1 complete. The primitives have signed the compliance document. Begin Phase 2 preparation. Resource extraction teams stand by. The words hit the humans like a cold slap in the face. Jake felt his stomach drop as the meaning became clear. "Primitives?" Lisa whispered. "Compliance document?" Amy scrolled to another message. "There's more. Human specimens show acceptable physical characteristics for manual labor. Recommend full population processing after resource survey completion." Ryan's face went pale. "They're not here to help us. They're here to conquer us." Jake stared at the screen, feeling sick. All those speeches about friendship and cooperation had been lies. The beautiful ceremony, the promises of shared knowledge, the warm welcome, it was all fake. "We have to warn Earth," Lisa said, reaching for the communication device. "No," Ryan said, grabbing her wrist. "If we try to send a message now, they'll know we've figured it out. We need to act normal until we can get back to our ship." Amy was still working on her scanner. "There's something else. According to these readings, their ships are already moving toward Earth. They must have started the journey before we even signed the treaty." The next morning, the humans acted as if nothing had changed. They smiled and thanked their hosts, accepted more gifts, and listened to more speeches about cooperation. Inside, they were terrified, but they couldn't let it show. Finally, after what felt like forever, Veltar announced that it was time for them to return home. "You must be eager to share the good news with your people," she said with that alien smile. "Our ships will follow in a few days to begin the knowledge transfer. We can't wait," Jake replied, hoping his voice sounded normal. As the UES Horizon pulled away from Central Station, the 4 humans sat in silence, each lost in their own thoughts. They had come here hoping to find friends among the stars. Instead, they had discovered that Earth was about to be invaded by enemies who smiled while they planned humanity's enslavement. The journey home would take 3 weeks. Jake wondered if that would be enough time to prepare Earth for what was coming. He looked at his small crew and realized that the fate of the entire human race might depend on whether anyone would believe their incredible story. 3 months had passed since the UES Horizon returned to Earth with its terrible news. At first, nobody believed Jake Morrison and his crew. The story seemed too crazy, too much like something from a movie. But Dr. Amy Carter's scanner data was real, and the intercepted alien messages were proof enough for the world's leaders. Earth's governments worked together like never before. They built new weapons, trained soldiers, and prepared underground shelters. But everyone knew it wouldn't be enough. The aliens had technology that was thousands of years ahead of anything humans had ever built. Admiral Kate Reynolds stood on the bridge of the EDS Liberty, Earth's largest warship. She was watching the space around Earth through powerful telescopes, waiting for something she hoped would never come. But deep down, she knew it was only a matter of time. "Admiral," called out Sergeant Mike Parker from the communications station, "we're getting reports from our deep space sensors. Something big is coming." Kate felt her heart skip a beat. How big? 12 massive ships, ma'am. They're bigger than anything we've ever seen, and there are hundreds of smaller ships with them. Kate closed her eyes for a moment. This was it. The invasion was beginning. Sound the alarm, she ordered. Contact all defense stations. Tell them this is not a drill. Across Earth, sirens began to wail. In cities around the world, people looked up at the sky with fear and wonder. Many had hoped the government warnings were wrong, that the aliens really were coming in peace. Now they would learn the truth. The alien fleet appeared first as tiny dots of light in the sky, but they grew bigger and bigger until massive ships hung over every major city on Earth. The ships were dark and threatening, nothing like the beautiful station where the humans had signed the treaty. In Washington, General Ben Taylor was deep underground in a military command center. He was surrounded by screens showing the alien ships over New York, London, Tokyo, and dozens of other cities. Each ship was the size of a small mountain. "Sir," said Captain Laura Price, "they're sending us a message." The main screen flickered and showed the familiar face of Ambassador Veltar, but now her kind expression was gone, replaced by cold cruelty. "People of Earth," she said, "you have been chosen to serve the Galactic Council. Your planet's resources will be harvested, and your population will be relocated to work colonies. Resistance is useless. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick." The transmission ended, and for a moment the command center was silent. "Well," said General Taylor, "I guess we have our answer about their peaceful intentions." The attack began immediately. Beams of energy shot down from the alien ships, destroying military bases, airports, and government buildings. Earth's fighter jets tried to fight back, but their weapons couldn't even scratch the alien ships. The few missiles that managed to hit simply bounced off like rubber balls. Admiral Reynolds watched helplessly as her entire fleet was destroyed in minutes. The alien weapons cut through Earth's best warships like they were made of paper. Her own ship shook as alien fire hit it again and again. "Abandon ship," she yelled as the bridge began to fill with smoke. "All hands abandon ship." But even as her ship was dying around her, Kate managed to send one final message to the underground command centers. "Earth fleet destroyed. Enemy weapons far superior to intelligence estimates. Good luck." The invasion moved to the ground level. Alien soldiers called Krillians landed in the major cities. They looked like giant insects walking on two legs with hard black shells that covered their bodies like armor. They carried weapons that fired bolts of energy, and nothing on Earth could stop them. The Krillians were followed by massive machines called Vorthan siege engines. These mechanical monsters were the size of buildings and had weapons that could level entire city blocks. They rolled through the streets, destroying everything in their path. In New York City, Police Chief Danny Collins tried to organize resistance with whatever weapons his officers had. But pistols and rifles were useless against enemies with energy, shields and armor plating. "Fall back," he yelled to his men as a group of Krillians advanced down Fifth Avenue. "Get the civilians to the subway tunnels." The retreat was chaos. Millions of people tried to escape the cities at the same time, clogging roads and causing panic. Many never made it out, but not everyone ran. In Colorado, a former Marine named Lisa Hayes gathered a group of survivors in the mountains. She had served 3 tours in Afghanistan and knew something about fighting against superior enemies. "We can't match their technology," she told her small group of fighters, "but we know this land better than they do. We can hit them fast and disappear before they know what happened." Similar groups formed all over the world. In the forests of Canada, Special Forces veteran Nick Coleman led attacks against alien supply lines. In the deserts of Australia, Aboriginal trackers used their knowledge of the land to strike at alien patrols and vanish into the wilderness. The aliens were surprised by this resistance. They had expected humans to surrender quickly like most primitive species did. They didn't understand that humans had been fighting wars for thousands of years and knew how to adapt to any enemy. But the biggest surprise came from an unexpected place. Dr. Amy Carter had been captured during the destruction of the International Space Research Facility. She was being held prisoner on an alien ship, along with Colonel Ryan Davis and dozens of other humans. The aliens made a mistake. They thought humans were too primitive to understand their technology, so they didn't bother to hide their plans. Amy watched and listened as the alien commanders discussed their strategy. "The harvest will begin once all resistance is eliminated," said a Zephyrian officer. "The adult humans will be processed for manual labor. The children will be educated to serve as translators and administrators." "What about the ones who keep fighting?" asked a Krillian commander. "Kill them all. We have enough specimens for our needs." Amy felt sick, but she forced herself to keep listening. She learned about alien weaknesses, about their command structure, and about their supply lines. Most importantly, she learned that the aliens were overconfident. They thought they had already won. Meanwhile, on the surface, the resistance was growing stronger. Commander Hayes had made contact with other groups, and they were sharing information and supplies. The aliens controlled the cities, but the countryside belonged to the humans. The breakthrough came when Nick Coleman's team captured an alien supply convoy in the Australian desert. Among the supplies were alien weapons and communication devices. For the first time since the invasion began, humans had alien technology to study. Dr. Helen Foster, who had escaped from a research facility in California, examined the captured weapons. She was amazed by what she found. "These energy weapons work on principles we understand," she told Coleman over a secure radio channel. "We can't build them yet, but we might be able to modify them or find ways to defend against them." Back in the underground command center, General Taylor was getting reports from resistance groups around the world. The news was mixed. The aliens controlled most of the major population centers, but they were having trouble with the guerrilla fighters in remote areas. "They're good at big battles," said Captain Price, "but they don't understand small unit tactics." "Then that's how we'll fight them," Taylor replied. "Small, fast, and smart. We can't match their firepower, but we can make them pay for every inch of ground." As the first month of occupation ended, both sides were learning hard lessons. The aliens had conquered Earth's cities and governments, but they hadn't conquered the human spirit. In hidden camps and underground bunkers, humans were planning their revenge. The trap had been sprung, but the prey was still fighting. And somewhere in the darkness, Dr. Carter was gathering information that would change everything. Deep in the Colorado mountains, buried under tons of rock and concrete, lay a secret that could change everything. The Blackwood Research Facility had been built in complete secrecy 20 years ago. When the alien invasion began, the facility went into automatic lockdown, sealing itself off from the outside world. Captain Steve Carter, Dr. Amy Carter's older brother, led a small team through the mountain tunnels toward the hidden base. He had served as a military engineer for 15 years and knew these mountains better than anyone. With him were 5 other soldiers, all hand-picked for their skills and loyalty. "The entrance should be just ahead," Steve whispered, as they moved through the darkness. They had been walking for 6 hours using old mining tunnels to avoid alien patrols above ground. Sergeant Bill Murphy, the team's demolitions expert, checked his scanner. "I'm reading massive energy signatures behind that wall, Captain. Whatever's in there, it's still powered up." When they reached the hidden door, Steve placed his hand on a scanner that had been waiting for him for months. The heavy steel door slid open with a soft hiss, revealing lights and clean air. "Welcome to Blackwood," said a voice from speakers in the wall. "Please state your authorization code." "Code Phoenix Rising," Steve replied. "Dr. Helen Foster, you still alive in there?" "Steve Carter, thank God you made it," came the reply. "We've been monitoring the invasion through our sensors. Come to Lab 7 immediately." The team walked through corridors filled with the most advanced technology they had ever seen. Steve had known that secret research was being done here, but he had never imagined anything like this. Dr. Foster met them at the lab entrance. She was a woman in her 50s with gray hair and tired eyes, but her voice was strong and determined. "We've been working on theoretical weapons for 2 decades, she explained as she led them into the lab. "Things the government thought might never be needed. Now it looks like we might have been wrong about that." The lab was enormous, filled with machines and computers that hummed with power. In the center stood several prototype weapons that looked like nothing Steve had ever seen. They were sleek and deadly, with crystal components that glowed with inner light. "Quantum disruption technology," Foster explained, picking up one of the weapons. "It can tear apart the molecular bonds in any material, We also have plasma weapons that can burn through 6 feet of steel, and defensive shields that can stop energy attacks. Professor Alan Mitchell, a thin man with wild hair, joined them at a computer terminal. The most important breakthrough is dimensional physics, he said excitedly. We've discovered how to open small holes in space-time. We can transport objects instantly across vast distances. Steve stared at the weapons and equipment around him. How long have you been working on this? 20 years, Foster replied. Ever since we detected the first alien signals from deep space. The government decided to prepare for the worst-case scenario. Good thing, too. Meanwhile, on the surface, Commander Lisa Hayes was having problems of her own. Her resistance group had grown to over 200 fighters, but they were running low on supplies and ammunition. Worse, the aliens were getting better at tracking them down. She was studying a map in her hidden camp when one of her scouts came, running up to her. Commander, we've got company. Strange-looking people approaching from the east. They don't look like aliens, but they don't look human either. Lisa grabbed her rifle and followed the scout to the edge of camp. What she saw made her heart race. A group of beings that looked almost human were walking toward them with their hands raised in peace. But their skin was pale blue, and their eyes were larger than human eyes. The leader of the group stepped forward and spoke in perfect English. Please do not shoot. We are friends. My name is Zax-9, and we are enemies of the Galactic Council. Lisa kept her weapon ready but didn't fire. What are you? We are Deltans, Zax-9 replied. Our world was conquered by the Council 50 years ago. We have been waiting for someone strong enough to fight back. We believe humans might be that someone. Over. The next hour, Zax-9 explained his people's story. The Deltans had once been a proud and free species, but the Galactic Council had destroyed their civilization and enslaved their people. Small groups of Deltan rebels had been fighting the Council ever since, hiding in the shadows and striking when they could. We know their weaknesses, Zax-9 said. Their weapons have power limits. Their shields can be overloaded if you hit them with enough energy at once, and their commanders are arrogant. They make mistakes because they think all other species are inferior. Lisa made a decision that would change the course of the war. If you help us fight them, we'll help you free your people when this is over. Zax-9 smiled, an expression that looked strange on his alien face. We accept your alliance, human warrior. Back at Blackwood, Steve Carter was learning to use the new weapons. The plasma rifle felt different from any weapon he had ever held. It was lighter, but somehow more deadly. When he fired it at a test target, the energy beam cut through 3 feet of steel like it was butter. The quantum disruptor is even more powerful, Dr. Foster explained, handing him another weapon. It doesn't just destroy the target, it makes the target stop existing. Paul Hughes, an engineer who had been working with Foster for years, showed Steve the defensive equipment. These personal shields can stop most energy weapons, and this, he held up a small device, is a quantum communicator. It can send messages instantly across any distance, even through alien jamming. While Steve's team learned to use the new technology, other resistance groups around the world were making their own discoveries. In the ruins of Tokyo, a group of Japanese scientists had figured out how to overload alien energy shields using modified car batteries and copper wire. In the Amazon jungle, Brazilian fighters had learned that alien sensors couldn't detect humans, who covered themselves with certain types of mud. The aliens had never encountered this kind of camouflage before. Dr. Amy Carter, still a prisoner on the alien command ship, continued to gather intelligence. She had discovered something important about the alien command structure. The different species in the Galactic Council didn't really trust each other. They worked together because they were afraid of each other, not because they were friends. She also learned that the aliens were having supply problems. The invasion of Earth was taking longer than expected, and they were running low on certain critical materials. The resistance fighters were doing more damage than the alien commanders wanted to admit. Most importantly, Amy discovered that the aliens had a weakness they didn't even know about. Their advanced technology relied on quantum processors that could be disrupted by certain types of electromagnetic pulses. If humans could build the right kind of weapon, they could shut down alien technology completely. Amy managed to hide this information in a coded message that she sent using a captured alien communication device. She didn't know if anyone would receive it, but she had to try. The message was picked up by Paul Hughes at Blackwood. When he decoded it, he nearly jumped out of his chair. "Dr. Foster, you need to see this," he called out. "Amy Carter just gave us the key to winning this war." As autumn turned to winter, the resistance was growing stronger every day. Hidden factories were building copies of the Blackwood weapons. Deltan rebels were training human fighters in alien combat tactics. And deep in the Colorado mountains, scientists were working on a weapon that could turn the tide of the entire war. The aliens still controlled the cities and the skies, but they were starting to realize that conquering Earth might not be as easy as they had thought. The humans were proving to be more resourceful and more dangerous than any species the Galactic Council had ever faced. Winter was coming, and with it, humanity's chance for revenge. The attack began at exactly midnight, Earth time. In hidden bunkers and mountain caves around the world, human fighters received the same message. Operation Freedom starts now. Show them what Earth is made of. Marcus Reed sat in front of dozens of computer screens in a bunker beneath the ruins of Detroit. He had been a software engineer before the invasion, but now he was humanity's best weapon against alien technology. His fingers moved quickly across multiple keyboards as he launched the quantum virus that Dr. Foster's team had developed. "Virus uploading to alien network," he said into his headset. "Beginning system infiltration now." The virus was designed using Amy Carter's intelligence about alien quantum processors. It spread through the alien communication network like wildfire, causing their computers to crash and their weapons to malfunction. On the alien command ship above New York, alarms began blaring. Zephyrian technicians ran back and forth trying to understand what was happening to their systems. "Communication with ground forces lost," reported one technician to Commander Veltar. "Weapon systems showing multiple failures, energy shields fluctuating." Veltar's calm expression cracked for the first time since the invasion began. "How is this possible? These primitives don't have the technology to attack our systems." She was wrong. At that exact moment, resistance fighters around the world were proving that humans were far from primitive. In the Colorado mountains, Commander Lisa Hayes led her fighters in an attack on the alien mining operation. They were armed with the new plasma weapons from Blackwood and supported by Deltan rebels who knew exactly where to hit the alien defenses. "Remember," Hayes told her team over the radio, "aim for the power cores. Zax 9 says that's their weak point." The attack was swift and brutal. Human fighters emerged from hidden positions and opened fire with weapons that the aliens had never seen before. The plasma beams cut through alien armor like paper, and the quantum disruptors made entire sections of alien equipment simply disappear. The Krillian soldiers tried to fight back, but their weapons weren't working properly because of Marcus Reed's virus. Their energy shields flickered and failed. For the first time since the invasion began, the aliens were the ones retreating. Similar attacks were happening all over the planet. In Australia, Nick Coleman's team destroyed an alien supply depot using explosives that had been enhanced with alien technology. In Brazil, local fighters used the new stealth suits to sneak into an alien command center and plant quantum bombs. But the most important battle was happening in space. Colonel Ryan Davis had escaped from the alien prison ship during the chaos caused by the computer virus. He found himself on a ship filled with human prisoners, including many pilots and engineers. "Listen up," he told the prisoners. "The resistance has started the final attack. We can either sit here and wait to be rescued, or we can take this ship and join the fight." The prisoners chose to fight. Using improvised weapons and their knowledge of the ship's layout, they overwhelmed the confused alien guards. Within 2 hours, humans controlled the massive alien vessel. Dr. Amy Carter, finally free from her cell, ran to the ship's computer center. "I can access their entire database from here," she told Davis. Everything about their military plans, their fleet positions, their weaknesses. What she found was even better than they had hoped. The alien fleet was in complete chaos. The virus had infected every ship, and the aliens were fighting blind. Better yet, Amy discovered the location of the alien staging areas where thousands of ships were waiting to invade other worlds. Captain Jake Morrison, thought dead since the early days of the invasion, was very much alive. He had been hiding in the asteroid belt with a small fleet of ships that had been secretly upgraded with Blackwood technology. When he received Amy's intelligence data, he knew it was time to strike. "All ships, this is Morrison," he broadcast to his fleet. "We've got their locations and their defenses are down. Time to show these aliens what happens when you mess with Earth." Morrison's fleet attacked the alien staging area with devastating force. The upgraded human ships were faster and more maneuverable than anything the aliens had seen. The quantum disruption weapons tore through alien hulls, and the new shields protected the human ships from return fire. The space battle was unlike anything that had ever happened in galactic history. Human pilots, fighting for their homes and families, flew with a courage and skill that amazed even their alien allies. The Deltan rebels fought alongside them, finally getting their chance at revenge against their oppressors. On the ground, the tide of battle was turning everywhere. The alien ground forces, cut off from their command ships and with their weapons failing, found themselves facing enemies who seemed to know their every weakness. In London, a group of British fighters used modified farming equipment to break through alien barriers. In Moscow, Russian soldiers discovered that alien energy weapons stopped working in extreme cold. So they lured the Krillians into freezer warehouses and fought them hand to hand. The aliens had conquered hundreds of worlds, but they had never faced anything like human creativity and determination. Every time they thought they understood human tactics, the humans would try something completely different. General Ben Taylor coordinated the global assault from his underground command center. Reports were coming in from every continent, and they were all good news. "Alien mining operations in Africa destroyed," reported Captain Laura Price. "Australian command center captured. European resistance has taken 3 major cities." But Taylor knew the real victory was happening in space. Jake Morrison's fleet had not only destroyed the alien staging area, they had captured dozens of intact alien ships. For the first time since the invasion began, humans had a space fleet that could match the aliens. The breakthrough moment came when Dr. Foster's team in Blackwood completed their ultimate weapon. It was a massive quantum disruptor that could shut down alien technology across an entire solar system. "One shot from this," Foster explained to Steve Carter, "and every alien ship and weapon in Earth's solar system will stop working permanently." Steve looked at the enormous device. "What's the catch?" "We have to get it close to their main command ship, very close." That was when Colonel Davis, calling from the captured alien vessel, offered the perfect solution. "I've got a ship full of alien prisoners and a complete set of alien codes," he said over the quantum communicator. "I can get you right next to their flagship." The plan was dangerous but simple. Davis would pilot the captured ship toward the alien flagship, pretending to be bringing important prisoners. Steve Carter and his team would be hidden inside with the quantum disruptor. When they got close enough, they would activate the weapon and end the invasion forever. As the captured ship approached the alien flagship, Veltar was trying desperately to regain control of her forces. She had never imagined that these primitive humans could cause so much damage. "Commander," reported a Krillian officer, "the prison ship is requesting permission to dock. They claim to have captured important human leaders." Veltar was suspicious, but she needed good news. "Permission granted. Bring the prisoners to me immediately." She had no idea that she was about to meet her greatest enemies face to face and that they were carrying a weapon that would change the course of galactic history forever. The uprising had begun, and humanity was winning. The captured alien ship docked with the flagship without incident. Colonel Ryan Davis walked through the corridors wearing stolen alien armor, with Steve Carter and his team following behind as supposed prisoners. The quantum disruptor was hidden inside what looked like a standard equipment case. "Stay calm," Davis whispered to his team. "We're almost there." They were led to the command center where Veltar waited. The Zephyrian commander looked tired and angry. Her perfect composure from the treaty signing was completely gone. "So," she said, studying the fake prisoners, "these are the humans who have caused us so much trouble. Davis stepped forward and removed his helmet, revealing his human face. Actually, we're the humans who are about to end this war. Veltar's eyes went wide with shock and rage. Impossible! How did you get aboard my ship? The same way we figured out how to beat your entire fleet, Steve Carter said, activating the quantum disruptor. By being smarter than you thought possible. The device hummed to life, sending out invisible waves of energy that spread throughout the solar system at the speed of light. Every alien ship, weapon, and piece of technology simply stopped working. The lights on the bridge went out. The artificial gravity failed. In the sudden darkness, the only sounds were the panicked voices of alien officers. Emergency power came on a few seconds later, but it was too late. The quantum disruptor had done its work. Every piece of advanced alien technology in Earth's solar system was permanently dead. "What have you done?" Veltar screamed. "We've leveled the playing field," Davis replied calmly. "Now let's see how tough you are without your fancy weapons." The news spread quickly through the human resistance network. All over Earth, alien forces found themselves stranded with useless equipment. The mighty Krillian soldiers were just large insects without their energy weapons and armor. The Vorthan siege engines were nothing but expensive scrap metal. But humanity's revenge was just beginning. Admiral Kate Reynolds, who had survived the destruction of her ship, now commanded a new fleet built with hybrid human-alien technology. The quantum disruptor had been designed to only affect pure alien technology, so the human ships with their modified systems still worked perfectly. "All ships, this is Admiral Reynolds," she broadcast to her fleet. "Phase 2 begins now. We're taking this fight to their home worlds." The human fleet was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The ships combined human engineering with captured alien designs, creating vessels that were both tough and innovative. Most importantly, they were crewed by humans who had learned to fight against impossible odds. Jake Morrison, now commanding the flagship UES Vengeance, led the attack on the Zephyrian home system. The aliens had never experienced warfare in their own territory. For 1,000 years, they had been the ones invading other worlds. Now they found human ships appearing in their skies. The psychological impact was enormous. Across the galaxy, other alien species watched in amazement as their supposed masters were defeated by the primitive humans from Earth. The Galactic Council's reputation for invincibility was shattered forever. On the hexapod homeworld, the six-armed aliens surrendered without a fight when human ships appeared over their capital city. They had seen what happened to the Krillian fleets and wanted no part of it. "We yield to human authority," broadcast the hexapod leader. "Please spare our civilians." Captain Morrison accepted the surrender, but he had conditions. "You'll provide full compensation to every species you've enslaved. You'll release all prisoners, and you'll submit to human oversight of your government." Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. The Vorthans, despite their crystal armor and advanced weapons, found themselves outmatched by human tactics and determination. The species that had once seemed invincible were begging for mercy. But the most important victory came at the Galactic Council's seat of power, a massive space station in the center of the galaxy. This was where the 12 ruling species had made their decisions for centuries, where they had planned the conquest of thousands of worlds. Ambassador Lisa Brooks, who had signed the original treaty in good faith, now returned to face the Council. But this time, she wasn't alone. She was accompanied by Captain Morrison, General Taylor, and representatives from dozens of species that had been freed by human forces. The Council chamber looked exactly the same as it had during the treaty signing, but everything else had changed. The 12 thrones were occupied by defeated alien leaders who could barely look the humans in the eye. 6 months ago, Lisa began, you welcomed us here as friends. You spoke of cooperation and mutual benefit. You made us believe that you were peaceful and wise. She walked to the center of the chamber where the golden treaty tablet still sat on its pedestal. But it was all lies. You saw us as slaves to be harvested, resources to be exploited. You thought we were too primitive to resist. Chancellor Mordak, the massive Krillian leader, tried to speak. You don't understand the complexity of galactic governance. Some species must be guided by others who are more advanced. Guided? General Taylor stepped forward. Is that what you call invasion, conquest, and slavery? Dr. Amy Carter, now serving as humanity's chief intelligence officer, activated a holographic display that showed the Council's crimes. Planet after planet appeared in the air, each one conquered and enslaved by the Galactic Council. 47. Civilizations destroyed, she said coldly. 312 species enslaved. Billions of lives lost because you believed might makes right. The evidence was overwhelming. The council members sat in silence, unable to defend their actions. Queen Zixra of the Vorthons finally spoke. "What do you want from us?" Captain Morrison answered. "Complete surrender, dissolution of the Galactic Council, reparations to every species you've harmed, and submission to a new galactic government based on freedom and equality, not conquest and slavery." "And if we refuse?" asked Elder Kethsol of the Hexapods. Morrison smiled grimly. "Then you can ask the Krillian Home Fleet how refusal worked. Out for them." The silence that followed was deafening. These beings who had ruled the galaxy for centuries now sat powerless before the species they had tried to enslave. The irony was not lost on anyone in the chamber. One by one, the council members agreed to the human terms. They had no choice. Their fleets were destroyed, their technology was useless, and their authority was broken. The formal dissolution of the Galactic Council was signed in the same chamber where the humans had been deceived months earlier. But, this time, it was the aliens who were signing documents they didn't want to sign. As the ceremony ended, the former council members were led away to face justice for their crimes. The chamber fell silent except for the sound of human footsteps. "So what happens now?" Lisa asked Jake as they stood in the empty chamber. "Now we rebuild," he replied. "We create a galaxy where no species has to fear conquest, where cooperation is real instead of forced." The war was over, but humanity's work was just beginning. Across the galaxy, human ships carried aid to liberated worlds. Human engineers helped rebuild destroyed civilizations. Human teachers shared the knowledge of freedom and democracy. Earth became the center of a new galactic alliance, one based on cooperation instead of domination. Children on 1,000 worlds learned about the humans who had refused to accept slavery and had freed the galaxy from its oppressors. The Galactic Council's silence had become permanent. In its place rose the voices of free peoples guided by the species that had proven that courage and determination could overcome any enemy. Humanity had taken its revenge, but more importantly, it had shown the galaxy a better way to live.